This book is called Goodnight Gorilla by Peggy Rathmann. Shh. It's nighttime at the zoo, and the night watchman is going around making his rounds, saying goodnight to the animals. First animal he sees is Gorilla, and he says, "Goodnight, Gorilla." But Gorilla's, what is he doing? He's reaching for the keys. He has the keys. He unlocked his cage door and climbed out. Did Night Watchman see him? I don't think so. So now the gorilla is out, and there's a little mouse behind the gorilla who's holding a banana that's as big as he is. "Good night, elephant," says the night watchman. And gorilla, he's got some keys. What do you think he's gonna do? Yep, he let the elephant out. And as the night watchman says "Goodnight, lion," he's unlocking the door for the lion to get out. "Good night, hyena. Good night, giraffe." And now the hyena, the giraffe, the elephant, and the lion, well, of course, and the gorilla, and the monkey with the big banana are all out. One key, one last stop. Good night, armadillo. And they all follow the night watchman back across the lawn to his house. Past the pictures on the wall and into his bedroom, where Mrs. Night Watchman is already fast asleep in her bed, and all the animals find a place to settle in to fall asleep. And Gorilla's sitting on the bed. He's so tired. Oh, he's worked so hard. And Mrs. Night Watchman says, "Good night, dear," and turns out the light. And all the animals are saying, "Good night. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night." Someone's eyes are open. It's the Mrs. Night Watchman, who sees that there's a gorilla in her bed next to her, smiling at her like saying, "What up?" So she takes the gorilla by the hand, and all the animals follow her back across the grass and into the zoo, where she puts them back to bed and says, "Good night, zoo." But what's this? Why, it's our friend who has the keys. And he's saying, "Shh, don't tell on me." And there's poor Mouse, who's been dragging that banana right behind him. And she takes off her slippers and crawls into bed and says, "Good night, dear." And he says, "Good night." And Gorilla and Mouse climb in from the bottom of the bed. And Mouse says, "Good night, Gorilla." But Gorilla's already asleep. He's had his banana, and now he's asleep. The end.